All right, let's talk about something really cool in AI today. We're looking at a new idea. What if we could actually teach an AI how to learn better? Not just cramming it with more data, but giving it, well, a really smart teacher that guide it from day one.
And really, that leads to this huge question, right? So much of what we do in AI safety is just putting out fires. We're fixing problems after they pop up. But what if we could stop the AI from learning those bad habits in the first place? What if we could build a solid foundation so those problems never even get a chance to grow?
Okay, so let's get into it. To really get why this new solution is such a big deal, you first have to understand the problem. And it all goes back to this critical stage called pre-training. This is basically the AI's childhood. It's where it forms its entire core understanding of, well, everything.
So picture this. Standard pre-training is like telling an AI to read an entire library. But here's the catch. The library is completely unfiltered. It's got the good stuff, the bad stuff, and a whole lot of just plain nonsense. We're talking about basically the entire internet. So yeah, the AI learns a ton, but it also soaks up every single bias, every factual error, and all the toxic stuff that's floating around out there. And those flaws, they get baked right into its DNA from the start. And this right here, this just nails the whole issue, doesn't it? On the one hand, you've got the old way, fixing things after the fact. It's like a messy, inefficient patch-up job because the flaws are already deeply embedded. But on the other hand, the new idea is about fixing it during pre-training. You're building a strong, high-quality foundation from the absolute beginning. It's just a much smarter way to go.
So, what's the big idea? How do we fix this? Well, researchers have come up with this really elegant method they're calling self-improving pre-training. And the core concept is actually pretty simple, but it's super powerful. You give the AI a teacher, a mentor, to help it navigate that giant, messy library we were talking about.
Here's how the setup works. You've basically got two main characters in this story. First, there's the student model. This is the brand new AI, the one being trained from the ground up. Then you've got the mentor model. Think of this one as the seasoned expert, a really powerful AI that's already been fine-tuned for things like quality and safety.
Okay, so how does this mentor actually, well, mentor? It's not just sitting back and watching. No, this AI gets its hands dirty. It plays two super important roles in the student's education. It's both an editor and a critic. First up, it acts as the rewriter or the editor. So when the system comes across some junk in the original training data, something low quality or unsafe, the mentor jumps in. Instead of just letting the student learn from that garbage, the mentor actually rewrites it right then and there. It provides a much better, safer, more factual example for the student to learn from. It's like a real-time content filter. And the second role, the mentor becomes the judge, the critic. So as the student starts trying to create its own text, the judge looks at what it came up with. It compares the student's attempt to the original text and also to the mentor's own rewritten version. Then it gives a reward signal to whichever one is best. It's basically saying, hey student, this is the good stuff. Aim for this.
And this is where it all comes together in this beautiful continuous learning loop. Let's walk through it. First, some data comes in. Then, the system generates a few possible ways to continue that text. You've got the original version, the mentor's rewrite, and a fresh attempt from the student. Step 3, the mentor judges all of them and gives a reward to the winner. And then, this is the magic part, the student learns from that reward. It uses something called reinforcement learning to tweak its own internal wiring, getting just a little bit better each time. It's trial and error, but with a super smart guide.
The researchers who developed this put it perfectly. They said that trying to fix these issues, trying to make an AI high quality, safe, and factual after it's already been trained, it might just be too late. The bad habits are already there. But with this method, you're building those good habits in from the very first lesson. So that all sounds great in theory, right? But the big question is, does it actually work? Well, the researchers put it through its paces, and the results, honestly, they're pretty incredible. Let's check out the report card. First up, overall quality. They had human evaluators compare the stuff this new model wrote against a regular, traditionally trained one. And get this, people preferred the new self-improved model a whopping 86.3% of the time. I mean, that is not a small margin. That is a landslide victory for quality.
Okay, what about hallucinations? When AI just makes stuff up. It's a massive problem. Well, this new model showed a 36.2% relative improvement in factuality. To put that in perspective, it was more than a third less likely to just invent things.
That makes it way more reliable and grounded in reality.
And of course, the big one, safety. How did it do there? It showed an 18.5% relative improvement in safety. Now, that might not sound as huge as the other numbers, but in the world of AI safety, that is a critical step forward. It proves this method helps bake in the ability to avoid harmful content right from the start.
And if you want visual proof that this is actually working, just look at this chart. That line going up, that shows how often the judge picked the student model's own work as the best option. See how it trends sharply upwards over time? That's the student getting smarter. It's basically graduating, learning to create top-notch stuff all by itself.
So, let's step back for a second. What does all this actually mean for the future? Because this isn't just some minor adjustment. This could be a genuine, fundamental shift in how we approach building AI. What we're looking at is a move away from just passively absorbing data to a system of active, guided learning. This builds a path toward AI that is safer and more factual by design, not just by patching things up later. And maybe the most exciting part? It pioneers this idea of AI teaching AI. You have sophisticated models literally bootstrapping the creation of even better, smarter, and safer models. It's a game changer. And all of this leaves us with one last, really powerful question to think about. Right now, the focus is on making AI safer and more factual, which is obviously crucial. But if this whole method of guided learning works as well as it seems to, what else could we build in? What other positive traits, what other values could we weave into the very fabric of AI right from the beginning?